Okay, so that was part one, video cutoff. Going back here, I just cut back the comfrey last weekend, and in 1 week I cut it down to the ground and it's already regrown to this. That stuff grows like weeds. I'm I'm glad I planted it. I spread out the strawberries finally. They're still rooting, and I've had to replant in a couple spots, and like right here I may need to. Oh, hello grasshopper. Like this guy right here. Squirrels are doing some damage to that. I may need to replant these guys later because it's not great to do all the planting at this time of year. It's not awful, but the strawberries really kind of don't prefer it. And the squirrels are also, like, right now is when they're at their busiest digging season. Like, see here, they've planted, I assume those are going to be peanut plants coming up next year. But they've planted 3 peanut plants there, like, today. This squash has been the star of my garden. I'm about done with this side, and I'll go check out the tree side and then let you guys go. This squash has covered up from where I'm standing to the fence is, about 11 feet. And then from width-wise, that's about 8 feet. So this is covering a huge square footage. Powdery mildew happens this time of year, but there's still plenty of them on there for us to harvest. We've been eating tons of it and continue to eat tons, and I really like this variety, but I'm not planting it here again because it has smothered out a whole patch of turnips, a whole patch of lettuce, some place where I was saving radish seed, a few pepper plants, some beets. Like, there's so much extra stuff. Like, I expected this to be a 4 foot or 4 by 4 foot or 6 foot by 6 foot plant. I didn't expect an 8 foot by 11 foot plant. So it's going over in the other side next year. Cherry bush. It has done well. It's really starting to bush out. I really like the shape, and I like where I ended up planting it. These are all Roma tomatoes. So part of the reason, so I was a little lazy training and tying these things up, but also the squirrels have figured out how to climb these poles. They have little grips on them for the squirrels. So the squirrels have been climbing up, pulling the plants off or pulling tomatoes off and eating tomatoes. So like here's one down here with just a little nibble taken out of it. And there are half-eaten fruits all over down here. But so at least the squirrels are liking it, but I'm not getting much of a tomato harvest. And then they'll go through and, like, this happens when they pull it over too many times. So it's just been a battle that I've mostly given up. I'm very happy with the fig tree. I'm looking forward to 5 years from now when it actually bears fruit, most likely, but I'm glad that it has survived, and I think they're so pretty. I love fig trees. So this is about to die back down to the ground again, and I'm going to have to maintain it carefully over the coming years, but there is hope for figs. Last year, this thing was pathetic. It made maybe 2 leaves all year. This is the nectarine. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I'm taking a wait and see approach, but it's a tiny tree, so it's going to be years before I even know whether I want to keep it there or not. The pears have seemed a little stunted this year, just a little bit. I'm not really sure why, but the pruning that I did last year is pretty well held, and it's starting to get them into the shape I want. So that's good. The one exception, this big cherry tree. That was supposed to be 8 foot tall at full maturity, and it's 8 foot tall in its second year. More than 8 feet tall in its second year. I got the wrong kind of tree. They mislabeled what they sent me. I guarantee it. Egyptian walking onions have been harvested and replanted. I have bulblets. Pears, apples. We really like having this aesthetic of the garden herbs at the base of the trees. So I've planted some more. I don't think anything there survived. But like oregano down here. Little bits of oregano poking through down there, and then some there too. But so that's what, you know, this is an oregano plant too that I cut down half of and then dried, but this looked like that this time last year. And it's regrowing after I cut it down. Like once it gets established, it's good. Those chives are new. Chives take over quickly. The skunks. The skunks. Oh, these guys do this to every single acorn squash. They take like 3 nibbles out of it. I tried to do it to this butternut too, or this blue Hubbard too, but decided they didn't like it. But I do have one good blue Hubbard storage squash for this year. But I ended up with 3 of those total. Tons and tons of partially eaten acorn squash. And it looks like my first and only spaghetti squash. Hooray. I'm not sure if that's a spaghetti or butternut. I just kind of left it. This tree concerns me. I'm gonna have to stake this thing back up. It's been tilting more and more. There's a lot of wind in this area for some reason. It makes a weird curl or something. But so this tree gets blown around a whole lot, and I guess it's just not working well. And then asparagus. Asparagus. At maturity, this asparagus is going to be 4 or 5 feet tall and make a thick bush of these kinds of fronds. So I'm really looking forward to having basically a living wall in this back corner of the garden to hide the mushroom logs. Nothing has come up. They're obviously being weathered. They got plenty of water this year. Oh. When I say nothing has come up, hello, gorgeous. Okay. This is a video, so you can't see it, but you can smell it. They were on the ground. Oh, there's some more. They were on the ground, so they didn't make the characteristics. Sorry, I'm putting the phone down to put this back. On the ground, so they didn't make the characteristic shape. But that is definitely lion's mane mushrooms. So at least one of these logs came. Hooray. Success. Great success. I'm looking forward to that because that's going to be a lot of those, and they taste really good. I really like them. I haven't looked over here in a minute, so I'm just checking. This is the shiitakes in ash. I was expecting this one to take much longer to produce. It's a very dense wood, and these are much bigger logs. So I'm not expecting to see anything, and I don't. But I have spotted a ton of mushrooms all over. For instance, you know, so many different species, just a huge variety of fungal life. And so this yard isn't producing and probably never will produce a massive crop of Phoenix oyster mushrooms every time it rains. But seeing little patches of inky caps, and you know, I have a shiitake patch that I've just spread out. I replanted a clump of shiitake mycelium right here. Yeah, it's nice. It's still worth it. I'll take it. Last one, and then I'll let you go. This is where all of the comfrey ended up. I've been, like you can see the hose there, I've been watering it heavily. This has only been planted for a week. It's already brown, decaying, breaking down very quickly. This is where I'm going to plant garlic this fall. So it was kind of late to get the comfrey in to start composting, but it will be composted enough for me to plant about this time next month. So 1 more month to go, and then all of the garlic will be in the ground too, and that was really probably my favorite produce of the year. Okay, I'm done rambling. Take care, y'all. Happy Halloween. Happy October.